I like how they announced it. That's pretty cool. So so that was, and I'm going to share the document I emailed. So that the 2020 prom, and I was very looking back, we did that in mid-February of 2020, and like 3 weeks later, things started to shut down. So I was very thankful that if that pandemic was going to hit, it hit after our event, because we had about 1,300 people in the building, and our population is very vulnerable to COVID. So that could have been deadly for a lot of people. So we had that, just like I said, literally 3 weeks before COVID hit. And so the history of this is that we've held this event in February every year from 2016. And it was under the banner of the Tim Tebow Night to Shine. And then in 2020, and Tebow, they really kind of tell you when you do this, they want churches to take it over, so then they can start sponsoring and helping new churches. So that's what we did in 2020. We called it Shine On instead of Night to Shine. And then last year we had the prom virtual. And we still had 144 people on a virtual prom with a virtual karaoke and virtual party bus. It was pretty cool. So we've had as many as around 600 guests attend. And then when you put parents and caregivers and volunteers in the building, it's a pretty huge event. So so that's kind of the history. This is the first year we're not doing it in mid-February, and the reason for that was because of the COVID numbers. And I could have done a second virtual one, but I was kind of praying and hoping that, kind of based on last year, the COVID numbers got a lot better in the spring, and they did this year too. So I'd rather much do it live and in person. So that's why we moved it out to April. Most years, well, every year we've done it on a Friday night, and this year for the first time it's on a Saturday afternoon. And the reason for that is twofold. Our guests, our Friday nights we're going till 9:30, quarter to 10, and that's an awful long day for our guests. A lot of them, if they're from group homes, they have shift changes that start earlier than that, or medications. And a lot of them, frankly, go to bed early. And we found that a lot of our guests were leaving early because of that. I mean, we've got every year, and including this year, about people from 65 different cities that are signed up to attend. And literally, you go about an hour in each direction, and we got people coming from that way. So it was a long day for our guests to stay that long. And then our volunteers too. I was asking y'all to get there on a Friday night at 4:15, and that's after you've worked all day and traveling across town in rush hour. And especially some of our volunteers from like Lapeer and Algonac and Plymouth and other areas. That's an awful hard ask to do. And again, another long day for volunteers. So my thinking is that doing this on a Saturday afternoon, we'll all be home by dinner, which is pretty cool. And and I'm thinking our guests will be able to stay later, and it won't be as taxing on our volunteers. So that's why we moved it out to a Saturday and to late in the spring as well. So that's the kind of the history and where we're at. We currently have like 470 guests signed up. So we're not going to hit the 600 like we did the last 2 years, but primarily the reason for that is our group homes aren't coming out as much. We had 2 years ago like 45 group homes attend, and we've got about 22 signed up this year. But our individuals are about the same. So I'm not complaining with having almost 500 individuals. But our guests, our volunteers, 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 our guests, our guests attending that day. So, and with that, we're closing in. I think we're a little over 300 volunteers. Um, that's less than what we usually have, but because of our numbers being down with the guests, we're in desperate need of buddies still. Probably could use about 50 to 60 more. And we're going to make do with what we have, but that's probably how many we need. But I'm thrilled with the numbers. I'm thrilled that the church supports this. I'm thrilled that we have other campuses that are going to be supporting this as well. I just heard today from a couple people at White Lake that wanted to come help us out. So I was very encouraged by that. So how it works, especially if you're new, we have in every area of service has a coordinator, somebody who runs that area for us. And so if you're in the greeting, you have a coordinator. Red carpet has a coordinator. Karaoke, bingo room, they all have coordinators, and that person oversees that area. They're going to be your main contact even before the event and during the event. So we have a coordinator meeting tomorrow night with there's about 10 or 12 on that team. And I've asked them to email out their teams this week. So hopefully Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to hear from your coordinator, just kind of as an introduction. And then again, you should hear from them next week, just with kind of reminders and things like that. So the coordinators this is important too, the coordinators during the night, we've got these, see if I can show them, these purple shirts that say royalty on them. So you'll be easily being able to identify any of the coordinator members that we have that kind of knows where everything's at. Your coordinator will be in a purple shirt. These are royalty shirts that all our guests are getting on the way out. And we found over the years with that many people in the building, we just easily wanted our volunteers to easily recognize who's kind of on the lead team, if you will. So even in any area, if you're in any other area of the building, there should be somebody with that purple shirt on there. And if there's an issue or a safety concern or something that came up that you need, you can flag. That's one of the options you have, is flagging one of those people down, and they'll know what to do and who to get a hold of and how to help. So next up on this list is the timeline, and I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. And this kind of gives us we're kind of the timeline for the whole day. We're asking you all to arrive at 11 at the south entrance. So park in the south entrance parking lot. And then you're going to go in and you're going to check in at the south doors. Basically, I think we're going to have iPads, and you're just going to check your name, and it'll print a name tag sticker that you can put on that'll have your name on it. And then we're asking you to be in place by 11:15. I'll show you where in place is, but in your area. And the reason with doors opening at 12, you might say, wow, why do I have to be there 45 minutes early? Well, it's really a couple of fold. There's always some last minute details. And we definitely want to pray for the event, answer any questions you guys have. And what we've seen over the years, I'll tell our people that doors open at 12, but you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be people there at least 20 minutes before, waiting in line. And to be honest, we actually don't mind that, because that helps the flow so we want to be ready. And if it's 10 to 12 and we open the doors, I mean, trying to push 500 guests through in a short period of time it can be challenging. So if you can get there at 11:15, get all the instructions, pray, answer any questions, and we're ready to go, that'll hopefully work out. That's kind of been the formula we've had every year. And I'll show you where everything's going to be at. It's in your packet too. So up here, I said, what to wear. It's a question I get a lot. You do not have to get dressed up. In fact, I prefer you don't get dressed up. Um, I would dress just to be casual and comfort and dress for comfort. We just don't want any tennis shoes or t-shirts or blue jeans. And I want you to be comfortable. And I've had people over the years think that they have to get dressed up because the guests are, but not all the guests are. We have some that do come in blue jeans and t-shirts and stuff, and then some come in tuxedos. So I think something casual, something you're comfortable in, will be plenty good enough. We are serving lunch. It's God's food, so we're having Chick-fil-A, and it's a real nice lunch we provide. There'll be gluten-free chicken options from our own kitchen. There'll be mashed potatoes, a roll, salad, and corn. It's a good meal, and we want everybody, all of y'all, to eat. We've got enough food ordered for all of our volunteers, all of our guests, all of our parents, all of our caregivers. So we do want you to eat. If you're a buddy, you're going to eat with your guests. No doubt they're going to want to go get this food as well. If you're in any other area of the building, your coordinator will kind of work that out. If it's slowing down in your area, maybe they'll send some of you to go and then come back or something like that. But we want you to eat as kind of a small token of saying thanks for giving up your Saturday afternoon for this. And just because we want to feed you. We've got a real good relationship with Chick-fil-A. They've done this every year. They bring the Chick-fil-A cow, and they really love it. They look forward to this event every year. So it's pretty cool. So we want you to eat. Plan on that. That'll be first thing. So you see the doors open. Our lunch is going to be 12:30 to 2:30-ish. And most people will do that straight away. So I don't know if I have this. I haven't. So our guests will come in the north door. So that's why we want you guys to park in the south. And they'll come in the north doors and they'll check in. If you're familiar with the Troy campus, they'll check in just before the stairs at the north side over by the elevator. So they'll check in there, and right past the stairs is where they're going to get their crowns and tiaras and their boutonnieres and their corsages. And then they'll just walk almost dead center in the lobby. We have the red carpet. And you saw on that video, we have people on both sides of the red carpet that cheer the people on as they come in. And then straight after the red carpet, we have some like 4 or 5 photo backdrops that they get like their picture taken. We send the picture to them in the mail. But they really ham it up a lot of times at that. And then they go down the long hallway, and this is where we got everything listed here. The activities, the dancing, and the all the other activities also start at 12:30. They go to 3:15. So Gym 1 is like entirely food tables and lunch. And in Gym 2, we have kind of maybe 8 or 10 more tables because we need that for overflow. So they'll be kind of on the perimeter of Gym 2. We'll have some more eating. And then that's the dance room too. So the DJ plays in Gym 2. And there'll be signage. If this is your first year, we got signs all over the place, so you won't be confused. So and then in the community room that's actually before the gym is bingo, and bingo was such a hit, we just dedicated the whole community room to that. And then if you go down the kids wing, we have a few things down the kids wing, including a room for crafts, another room that we have games like some games that we rented, like Palinko, and we have a giant Connect 4, we have cornhole, things like that. Also down the kids wing is something we call the quiet room or personal care room. And really that is for any of our guests And if you're a buddy, you'll recognize this too. They get overstimulated and just need some quiet. Um, and the personal care part of it is if anybody needs to do any like personal care, like adult diaper changing, things like that. You guys won't do that. We'll talk a little bit about the safety stuff in there, but if a caregiver needs that, and excuse me, I'm sorry, the quiet room, my wife works that every year, and she maybe gets 2 or 3 guests that come in there throughout the night. They usually stay for 10 or 15 minutes and they go back. It's just too much stimulation sometimes. We do have a parent room this year. 2 years ago, it was upstairs. This year, it's in the underground. That's just the place for the parents. We let them know that's an option. If they just want to hang out with other parents, have some snacks, things like that. By the way, what we're looking for, if anybody knows anybody that does hand massages or neck massages, we've had that in the past for the parents. So if you do, send me an email or call me. So the parent room is there, and a lot of times our parents will go check on their son or daughter and come back to this room. Parents aren't required to stay on site, but we give them that option if they want to just go out and have a date night, if they want to stay there but not hang around their son or daughter. So we give them those options. We do have a photo booth that'll be outside of the gym, down the hallway. It'll be inside. There'll be some games in gym 1 as well. In front of the garage is where the salon area is, and that's where they can get hair. My wife's careful for me not to say hairstyles. It's more updos, redos, overdos, something like that. And then makeup and shoe shine for the salon area. In the garage itself is the karaoke room. If you go down that hallway by the garage, that's the student center entrance. We have a couple of party buses. This year, we have our regular party bus guy he's booked. And so we're going to decorate our own buses. Not the most exciting, but it is. And when we got 2 new things this year, because it's the spring instead of the winter time, we're having a petting zoo. And if you've been to the live nativity at the church, it's the same organization. I don't think they're going to bring like the pterodactyls for this. They're more like handheld kind of small animals. That's going to be outside, like in between the gym entrance and the student entrance. And we're doing face painting. So if you know the building and you know where the garage is at, there's a little patio outside of that. And with both of those, if it rains, we can move both of those just right inside, or the petting zoo kind of underneath the overhang of the gym entrance. So those are 2 new things we're doing, primarily because it's in this, you don't trust the weather in Michigan. I mean, it could be 40 or it could be 80, right? Or I'd want to do everything outside. But so I'm kind of just doing something. So that's where everything happens in the building. And at 3:10 is when we're going to kind of announce everything's going to be the last dance, the last karaoke song, the last bingo game, because at 3:15 we want everybody, parents, caregivers, volunteers, everybody, to head to the worship center and see the closing program between 3:30 and 4:30. The closing program has always been just a riot. It has our special needs choir sings, our worship team is singing 4 or 5 songs. We have, if it works out, we have a young man in a wheelchair. His sister likes to dance with him. We're going to have that. We have another group that does like sign language praise that is coming in. But it's just a real cool close of the day, the whole event. And I shared today that one of my favorite things is every year during one of the songs, our guests storm the stage. They go on, and we don't tell them to, but they go, and they're, again, some of my favorite pictures. They're jumping on stage and they're dancing, and so it's a real cool way to end the night, to end the day with our guests and kind of celebrate them, and then encourage them and invite them back to our ongoing events, Bible studies, and activities that we have beyond that Saturday. So here's, I have a couple things in case of emergencies. Again, if you have something come up in your area, I would say don't leave the person alone, whatever you do. If for example, somebody has a seizure, you stay with that person, but ask another volunteer to go get help. And to be honest, this has only happened in 5 years. We've only had one like medical emergency. It was a young man that had a seizure, and his mom happened to be with him. But you'll find out we've got a lot of personnel on site. There was about 5 medical people on site, like in minutes, like seconds. And we also have an ambulance right outside the gym entrance. So if there's a need for that, we get an ambulance every year. And the most excitement they've gotten every year is coming in to get the Chick-fil-A. So there's still some phones on the wall. If there is, you can call 1199 to get the safety and security team. That's my cell phone number there. I would print off this page and the next one, and maybe just bring them with you to have, if you're not familiar with the area or the time frame or things like that. And then there's just some do's and don'ts about the seizures and things pertaining to that. So this is going to be weird because it's not facing the right way, but I'll start here at the front. So if you look here at the front, the north entrance, this is where people check in. So if you're in the check-in area, you're going to show up, or the greeting area. If you're a greeter, you go right to the north doors after you check in at the south entrance. And then if you're in the check-in team, you just come over here, probably near the elevator. We do have our group homes do check in that little cafe area. So just so you guys know, it's an easier process if our group home guests register or sign in the same area. It kind of helps with the flow. If you're doing the red carpet, you're going to meet right in the middle of the lobby because that's where the red carpet is. If you're going to do any portrait or picture thing, that's right beyond that. Game rooms, if you're doing a game room or bingo, that's in the community room. That's where you would head after you check in. If you're doing the lunch serving, you would go to gym 1 after you check in. And then down here in the purple, where if you're on the salon team, you would go in front of the garage. If you're on the karaoke team, you go in the garage. So that's where you guys would head, and that's where everything's at. As far as using a map and things like that. So hopefully that was kind of clear. And like I said, if it was especially your first time, if you've been here before, most of that stuff is in the same spot where we've always had them. And so if you're new, or if it's not your campus, I would definitely pull out those 2 pages and maybe just put them in your pocket for the night moving forward. So I'm going back up here, and so we talked about what happens where down at the bottom I have like disability do's and don'ts, like etiquette, and like disability definitions and things like that. I'll let you read those on your own. Most of this is common sense. What the cool thing is, and especially if you're a buddy, or even if you're not a buddy, this is a fun event they're looking for. It's not like they're going to the dentist and you have to convince them to have a good time. They're here to have a good time. And for you guys to, represent Christ and be an ambassador for Woodside at the same time is really cool and a real good opportunity. And they're looking for a good time. So, and to be honest, I pray for our guests to have a good time, but man, if they can't have fun with this, I can't help them. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff to do. But what I pray most about is the medical and safety concerns, because every year, we were doing this in the dark, and we got the woods right behind us and Rochester Road right in front of us. And there's a lot of potential things that can happen. And thankfully, nothing has. So I pray for the safety and medical part of it more than I pray for them to have fun. Although they'll have fun. Like I said, I'd be very, very surprised if they don't. One more thing as far as safety goes, especially for you buddies, do not enter a bathroom alone with your guest. And in fact, 99% of our guests, if they need any help in the restroom, either they're going to have a caregiver or a parent attend with them. Because if you were a parent, you wouldn't want somebody else in there with your son or daughter that you don't know. And so accidents have happened, and that's when you maybe get a second volunteer. But do not go into the bathroom. You shouldn't be anywhere in the building alone at all, because there's going to be people in every room, a lot of people in every room. But the restrooms is what we want to be careful for. And just so you guys know too, you all are going to have like printed name tags. Our guests are going to have blue name tags on them with their first name on it. Any parent or caregiver is going to have a red tag with a lanyard. And the reason for that is so if any of our like safety personnel, if they see somebody going in a restroom with a guest and they have that red thing on, then we know that's either a caregiver or a family member of theirs. So they know that that's an okay thing. And the other thing to know about the name tags, especially for you buddies, but for everybody, is God, I don't have one. I should have brought one here. So the name tag is blue and it's about this long. If any of our guests, when they register, they let us know if there's any medical concerns or if they're sugar or gluten-free. And if you see in the corner a written SF or GF, then they're sugar or gluten-free. If there's a little star, then that means they're prone to have seizures. Like I said, we've only had one in all the years we've done this, but that would just make, especially the buddy, aware that that's a potential thing. And again, if they have a lot of seizures, a lot of times, most likely they're going to have somebody with them that night. But so if you see any of those symbols on the name tag, that's what that stands for. And when people are serving lunch, they notice that as well. And if they see a GF, then they'll just give them the gluten-free chicken and either the sugar or gluten-free cookie that they have available for them too. And if you're a lunch server, the plates are passed between the volunteers, so the guest doesn't get them until the very end, if you know what I mean, kind of like that. So the next item is the current needs. So we obviously need buddies. So if you know anybody who is already CPP, it's kind of too late for that process. So they have to be Woodside members, Child Protection Program. Like I said, we could use about 60 of them. I'd feel pretty comfortable if we had 60 or 70 more. The photo help we need, and I wouldn't want to take anybody away from what you're doing, but if you know somebody, a Woodsider, when we have the photo portraits, there's sometimes like a line, and we just want a host that says, hey, okay, this line is open, go over here, or this line's open, go over there. And then, and I don't advertise for that because I figure I always get a lot of last minute people saying, how can I help? And face painters, we're doing that for the first time. If any of you know any face painters or any of the teenagers who face paint, we could use about 3 of those. So, so let me know if, and then for the parent room, any neck massages, people, or hand massage. Now, though, for those two, for the hand massage and neck massage, they don't have to be Woodsiders. We in the past have worked with a local like beauty school that would bring people in to do that. But so far they're unavailable. So those are our current needs. We could always use, if you know people, we could use as many people as we can get along the red carpet or the karaoke room. And if you saw that video, you saw people cheering in both sections. So in our karaoke room, you'd be surprised how many people line up and how long the line is for a 45-second or a 1-minute karaoke song. But the looks on their faces when they're getting cheered on at the same time, or pom-poms are waving, is amazing. So I think we currently have maybe 25 or 30 people signed up for that. We could easily take double that. So if there's any Woodsider, again, we just want people to be, other than those massage people, we want people to be Woodside regular attendees. And the same with the red carpet. If you saw that video, you saw it's one of the very first things of the day. And they get, the first year we did it, Pastor Doug was standing next to me at the red carpet, and he had this look on his face like, man, what am I seeing? And just the energy that they get when these people feel like they're being welcomed like never before is amazing. So we could, again, the red carpet area, I think we have 40 people signed up. We could easily fit 30 more. So again, if you know anybody, those kind of numbers for the karaoke and red carpet, we'll make do with what we have. But if we had more, I'd take them in a heartbeat. So those are our current needs. The setup schedule, what we found every year is we get a lot of people really interested in wanting to help. And the first couple of years, I didn't put a time frame on it, and people were coming from work and we were already done. So I don't want to do that with people. I don't want people to come and I say, hey, we just finished an hour ago. So I kind of put time frames on it and what we're doing. But one of the biggest jobs we're going to have is our setup for our tables. I've ordered 60 tables between the two gyms. I think we have 45 in gym 1 and 15 in gym 2. And they're going to be delivered that Thursday in the morning. So I put down between 3 and 4:30 Thursday, if we can even have them set up. And then also I'll pull up the buses and just kind of decorate the party buses, make them kind of festive looking. And then Friday morning, putting on the linens on the tables and the centerpieces in the morning. And then in the lobby, we set up the crowns and tiaras and boutonnieres and corsages. That's kind of a job. I mean, that's not like hours, but that could take a little while. And we do have a couple ladies who come in and do our balloon arches every year, but they could always use about 3 or 4 people to help with that. And again, that would be in the lobby Friday morning. Saturday, we don't need a lot of people for this. We can't set up the underground Friday night, so we're going to do that Saturday and morning. And literally that won't take, I put an hour and a half, but I doubt that would take a half hour. So I wouldn't come just for that, because I think we're going to have that covered. So those are, I'm trying to keep the decorations and things as simple as I can this year. In the past, we had the event on a Friday night, and then there really wasn't anything going on Saturday. But with us doing this on a Saturday, we've got church the next morning. So I'm trying to limit the tear down after the event. And if you're able to help us tear down, I bet if we get enough people, it's not going to take more than a half hour, 45 minutes. It's really boxing everything up and bringing them down to like the garage area, and I'll take it from there. There's not going to be much. But if things like rolling up the red carpet and rolling up the photo backdrops, and so it's not a lot. And if we don't have a lot of decorations out, it's not going to take a lot of time. And it's just a big help to our custodial team, who has to set up and get ready for church at 8:15 service the next morning. So the other thing is we have an after party every year. Typically we would have it on the Sunday right after the event, but since we're having the event on a Saturday, We're going to have it the next Sunday, and this is where everybody's invited. So it's at 11:30 to 1:30 in the garage. And this is just a way for us to kind of extend the relationships that we just made and to celebrate that event. We want all volunteers, we want all parents, all of our special needs folks to just kind of come in, and they're going to hear from our choir. They're going to get a little taste of our adult Sunday school class, so we can kind of show them how that looks. And then we're gonna we'll have the world premiere of the recap video from the prom that will show everybody for the first time. And then we're gonna have pizza. So it's a good time, especially to just kind of, again, that's a way to honor what you guys did. And if you were a buddy, it's a good thing you can invite your guests back to, and kind of what's come cool out of this event is every year we get a guest that's coming back and they request the buddy that they had the year before. So it's really, really cool, the relationships that are built up. And I can tell you too, guys, I've been, so I just tell you the Lord's used this to build up the special needs ministry and to bring people to Christ. Before this event in 2016, our adult Sunday school class had like 26 people in it, and that's really sizable, but pre-COVID we were at 70, and most of the increase you can say is these people didn't know churches do this beyond that event. And so it's the Lord's used it, and he's used our volunteers to start that relationship. And so that's why I appreciate all what you guys do. And then we do have some social media things. We do a 40-day prayer thing with a different emphasis on to pray over that on that Facebook thing. We do have like a Shine On page where I give updates, and we'll be posting pictures and stuff like that. And then our special needs ministry page as well. So during the event, we're going to have people do like Facebook Lives. I'm going to have somebody go around and just do like a 30-second or a 1 minute. We're at the red carpet and kind of video it and things like that. So so those will be posted to the Shine On page and our special needs page afterwards. So let me make sure. I think I got that. I know I was trying to, like I said, I want to honor your time, and but I do want to make sure I got everything right. Yeah, the rest of it, hopefully you got all these packets. If you didn't, just send me an email. You must have my email because you got the link. Send me an email if you didn't get this packet, and I'll send it out to you. I think that's it. I can go down now and answer any of these questions, and then if after that, if you want to stick around, I can stay here. So I'll kind of go down the list. Okay. Let me see. Oh, you weren't able to see the video. I'm sorry, it was just loading. Yeah, you know what? I got something on my end. It's not my Wi-Fi because I've got good Wi-Fi here, but it happens at the church and it happens here at home where my laptop and Zoom and playing videos. So I don't know what that is. So I'm sorry if you couldn't. The video seemed kind of choppy to me, so I bet it did for you as well too. So I apologize for that. Let me see. Doug, good question, Doug. Mask protocol. I think and I've had a couple of our parents ask that, and I just say do whatever you're comfortable with. I'm not requiring that of anybody, but I'm not shaming anybody if they wear it either. So you do what's best for whatever you individually want to do. And that's the same with our guests. I'm sure we're going to see some that are going to wear masks, and most others probably won't. They know they're coming into a building with perhaps 11 or 1,200 people in it. So But yeah, I would say, do whatever you're comfortable with.
But Greg, what about if the buddy is wearing a mask, should we be respectful and wear a mask just because that's a request that they're either there or their parents are making? That's kind of where the trick is.
Yeah, good question, Doug. I have not had one parent ask if any of our guests are going to wear a mask. Not one. I'm not saying I'm not going to get it. If you're going to be a buddy and you want to stick one in your back pocket, and you want to do that out of respect, I get that. But the whole mask thing, it gets people in an uproar, and I try to stay neutral on that, to be honest. But that would be really respectful too, Doug. And I know you've been a buddy before. If you want to just stick one in the back pocket and your guest has that, then I don't think anybody would have an issue with that as well. But good question. Sandy's asking if the volunteers have separate bathrooms to use throughout the night. Not really. And you know why that is, Sandy? Because especially with our volunteers, we don't want them too far away. We don't want, because where there's bathrooms down by the community room and then nearby the gym. And that's where people are going to be. And the ones that aren't going to be used are like upstairs near the office. And we don't want people, going that far away. So unfortunately, and I understand like privacy and things like that too. I get it. It's just, yeah, I don't know how we could pull that off and still have, and still, be able to engage our guests. You know what I mean?
So Greg, just to clarify what you were saying earlier, though, so is it the bathroom stall that we're not allowed to go in, or are we not even supposed to be in the bathroom at the same time as our buddy?
Yeah, you're not. What I would do, and again, every guest is different, so I would, like what we do with our typical adults on a Sunday morning is we don't go in there with them. We wait outside the door. If it's a lot longer than we think it ought to be, then we're knocking on the door or cracking it open and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And 9 out of 10 times in that case at this event, there'll be multiple people in that room. I would say if you need to go in to check, I would just grab another volunteer. And it's too bad we're kind of living in that age that we have to, but that's where we're at, right? We just gotta, you want to be able to help, but and what's kind of taken over is we have to protect ourselves, and I get that part of it. And so yeah, we're not supposed to go in, but if you have to, like I said, I would find another volunteer quickly and just like, for example, if you're near the garage and if you see a volunteer walk by, or there's the salon and the karaoke room right there, and there's a lot of volunteers there, I would just say, "Hey, can you come in and just help me?" And and obviously, this too, we're not supposed to do any personal care with them.
Right.
In the personal care room and the quiet room, I do have adult diapers and I think large or extra large sweatpants, that if there is any emergency or things like that, we kind of have that on site. And we've never used either of those. I've had them for years and I bought way too many, but we've never used them, but we have them if we need them, what would the age requirement be for the face painters? I'm trying to make it so there isn't anybody under 12 at this event. So I'd say if they're 13 or over and can handle face painting, and I would just say if they could bring the face paint, just let me know how much they paid for it. I'll take it from there. So hopefully, and if they've done it before, so anybody who's done it before knows what they're doing. It's cool. We have, and I hope I can find them because I can't find them, temporary tattoos that say "Shine On" them. So we'll have somebody in that area do it as well, as well as the face painting. So Greg, Mark asked me to help with the photos, but I'm already in the food serving. I think we have enough food servers. I just actually had somebody sign up today or want to sign up. So if you could send me an email and just remind me that, I'll make the switch on my end. And I appreciate that. Yeah, Mark has, these photo hosts. There was a woman today who told me she would do that. We just need like 3 or 4. So if you could do that, I would do it. And if you guys, this doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes. I appreciate it if you could be flexible, that if we're doing something and we find we need more help in one area and we ask you if you could leave and come over to another area. It's rare that that happens, but it could. So if you can be flexible and understand with that. We do, somebody said that their husband can take pictures. Again, send me an email. We might have enough photographers. We do have a team usually of 8 or 9, and I can check with Mark. Mark Wiedelman is our coordinator for the photo area. I can check with him how many he has. I'm actually meeting with our coordinating team tomorrow night, but I can verify with him. So if you want to send me an email's the best way to get a hold of me, because yeah, text isn't bad, but I like to bring my girls that are 13 and 15 and are CPP cleared to work with the kids at Woodside, but are they not CPR certified? Could they come for the red carpet and the karaoke cheering? Yeah. They can come for what we want to do, and kind of the policy we've had with this is we don't want anybody under 12, and 13 to 15 is good if they're serving alongside a parent in either the karaoke or red carpet areas. And the reason for that is, and especially if you've done this before, it's a huge event when you're talking 1,100 people. And I know how I was at 10 or 11 years old, and I'm running all over that place, and if it kind of changes our focus on what we're supposed to be doing, but and that's why we figure if they're with their parent and in the red carpet or karaoke rooms, those are fun rooms, and again, we can take as many as we want, and so that's why we have that. So yeah, they can do that. Again, send me an email and their names, and I need to just add them to the list so they get name tags as well when y'all check in. Yeah, here's a good question too. The social media parameters for personal pages. Good question. When our guests register, they kind of sign a waiver that they know there's going to be pictures taken. Having said that, though, if you're going to take a picture, if you're like a buddy and you want to take a picture, I would ask them first. And maybe even if you see their parent later, ask their parent if you can. It's just out of respect kind of a thing, because obviously there's a lot of, there's families out there that may have a divorce situation and they don't want us ex-spouse to know what's going on. Just a lot of scenarios. So I would ask, we could always say, hey, you signed the waiver, but I think out of respect, I would ask. Otherwise, and if they're generic, like you're taking a big group picture kind of a thing, or, from a distance or things like that, I would do that. And going back also to the parents, so we're asking parents to come back in the worship center for the closing program. So if you're a buddy, stay with your guests until after that event, and then look for the parent in the lobby or in the worship center. And if you're serving anywhere else, obviously when that time is up, you can leave. But man, I hope you stay for the program. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I would do with the social media stuff. I post it, but mostly it's with people I know who are already in my ministry that have also signed like a waiver kind of a thing. But there is it doesn't hurt to ask and just kind of be respectful. Oh, good idea. I'll put that YouTube link in the chat. I don't know whose idea that was, but that was a pretty good idea. I'll put that in. Oh, wait a minute, I can't minimize. Okay. I'll put it in the chat, or try to put it in the chat. It's, but good question. Yeah, the video is on YouTube. It's under, we have our, in fact, I'll put it now. We have a special needs YouTube page where we put all our videos and some of our Bible studies and things like that. So I'm putting it right now. That was a marvelous idea. So that was from 2020. Let me see. Yeah, I'm working at it as a buddy, so I won't be right there with them. They are super responsible and can handle this, but I would not be with them. Oh, with the kids. Is there any chance, Sarah, that they could come with another family member? Yeah, message me with that, Sarah, and we'll work through something like that. Here, and then the next, Tara, you said you have a 14-year-old who is CPP certified. Can she help me as a buddy? Yeah, I would do it that time. So they would be with you as kind of like a co-buddy, rather than her or him being, or her being by herself, just because of her age and the age difference and things like that. So yeah, I think that could work out. Okay, I think I got everything. Yeah, feel free to unmute and ask. I'm sticking around until everybody's questions are answered. Yeah. Yeah, and don't hesitate. And that handout I gave you, it's got my email, got my phone number, and you'll be hearing hopefully at least once or twice from your coordinator in your area. Yeah. What else? What else did I not cover? And I honestly, I appreciate you guys more than you know. And I'll tell you a quick story too. We have, when the event is over from the worship center, they come out. We got swag bags for them on the way out, and we've got 500 swag bags made today and assembled today by the ladies, the widows, the widows group of like 30 ladies assembled 500 bags for us for these guests in less than an hour. It was a cool thing to see, and it's a kind of event that takes a lot of people at the church to do. There might only be 3 or 4 of these ladies that signs out, I found out that might actually be there the day of, but 30 of them helped and blessed. You know, I said, look, these guys are coming home with these bags, and that'll be a memory that they have of the event. That, you know, it's been, you know, several years, and I still see people who wear the T-shirts we gave away, you know, several years ago, and the little backpack thing that we did. So yeah, so it's pretty cool to see the church come alongside this in a lot of different ways. So I appreciate that. Yeah, Bob, the buddy coordinator is John Carver. If you've done it before, John has been the buddy coordinator every year. John and his wife have been with me in my ministry for 20 years now, and the buddies will meet in the worship center. Once you check in at the south entrance, I would just head right to the and really how the buddies work, if you're a new buddy, is other than us having a few kind of pre-assigned ones because they've been requested, it's really next one in line, you know, come on down, and it actually works. We've had people, in fact, just last week, I had a mom call me and said, hey, the last prom, my son was with Tim Layden, and I want him to be with Tim Layden again. Can he do that? So, and Tim was with this guy, just kind of random. That's how we do it. And they built that relationship up. And it's been a couple of years, and mom still remembers that. And she wanted her son to be with Tim again. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, anything else? Did I miss anything else? Feel free to unmute or ask or,
I, I wanted to apologize to everybody. I have a power outage in my home and I've had to take the meeting from Panera Bread today.
nice.
We're heading back home and we still don't have power, so, but I enjoyed the meeting.
Oh, just pick us up some bagels next time you do that, Alice. I'll take a blueberry myself. So, well, I'm glad you made it because you did email me before and I got that. That was
Okay.
Anybody else? And don't hesitate, if you think of something later, just reach out and, we just want to make this and support you guys as much as we can. And, and just as another way of showing how much we appreciate y'all doing this.
Thank you, Greg. We'll see you on that Saturday.
Yes, Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Anything else? Anybody else?
We're gonna party.
Oh, it's gonna be a hoot. If you've not been there, it is a hoot. It really is. And yeah, it's really good. But I'm gonna stop the recording for now.